a bowl for the dry ingredients, a bowl for the wet ingredients, and one for the topping. And then measuring cups, measuring spoons, a small spatula that'll help you with the topping, a whisk. I'm using a microplaner, or you can use a grater, a spatula, a silicone sheet inside my baking pan, but you can also oil the interior of your pan if that's what you want to do. It works for me. Whole wheat pastry flour, all-purpose flour, aluminum-free baking powder, baking soda, some dairy-free beverage. I'm using soy milk. You could use rice milk. That would also work. Maple syrup, pecans, applesauce, vanilla extract, cloves, cinnamon, freshly ground nutmeg, salt, and apple cider vinegar.
Oh, hello darlings. I'm just getting my ingredients together for this fabulous coffee cake. That'll be great at your brunch. I'm basically going to make it in this pan, but you can make it in a 9-inch round pan if you wanted to do that. You can put a number of different nuts on top of it if you want to. You don't have to do that. I'm going to be putting a little toasted coconut on it. I just had it left over and I don't know what to do with it. Whatever you really think would be kind of fun to put on top of it. The basic idea is it has cinnamon and cloves, so you can do raisins, you could dried apricots. I mean, nobody would know you're making the exact same cake. You're just jazzing it up with different dried fruits or nuts or even a well-made jam, like a berry jam. Fab. So, let's get started. Ooh, baby, I heard you get hot so fast. All I have to do is push the right button. The jokes never change. So, I have a separate bowl for my dry ingredients. This is my whole wheat pastry flour, and this is unbleached white flour. It's actually a type of whole wheat flour. And salt, which this is Celtic salt. I think it's great. I can use a very little bit of this salt, and it has a lot of flavor. Aluminum-free baking powder. And here's my baking soda. Give it a little bit of leavening. And then my sweetener is going to come from the maple syrup that's going to be in with the wet ingredients. Nutmeg, just a touch of cloves. I know when I can smell it, that's enough cloves. I really like cinnamon. And now I'm going to whisk it. Alright, now I'm going to do my topping. I'm putting in my pecans, but if you only have almonds hanging around or you have a boatload of walnuts you're trying to use up, you can use any kind of nut that you would like to in this. A scant of sugar, a little bit close, about a pinch. My cinnamon. Now, here's my flax. Again, this is what I'm going to use as a binder. 1 tablespoon of flax and 3 tablespoons of water. 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Now I'm going to mix this. This I will not be able to whisk, but I'm actually going to mix it around. Darlings, make sure that your pan is ready, your oven is hot before you start into this step. You want to make the topping and then the dry ingredients, and then you want to do the wet ingredients. Because once this vinegar hits that baking soda, you're going to start the chain reaction to make your cake. And you want that cake in the oven. Okay? So just make sure at this point everything is ready to rock and get right into the oven. Now I'm using soy milk. You can use whatever kind of milk floats your boat. There's my maple syrup. Now there's a lot of vanilla in this, but it tastes really fantastic. And the applesauce, my apple cider vinegar. And I'm actually going to do just a scant tablespoon. Now I'm going to whip this together and then add it to the dry. Add this to the dry. Whisk that together. Start with the center. Always start with the center and work your way out. Turn your bowl to make sure you get everything in. Alright, now, because there's no eggs, I can actually taste the batter. That is so good. Okay, now I'm going to pour half in my pan, which is lined with a silicone sheet. If you don't have a silicone sheet, just put a little oil around. Shake this out. Now I'm going to put in half of my topping. I literally cut a line across so I can just scoop whatever that half is. Yum! And make sure you get it all around. Now the rest of my batter goes in, and I'm pouring it right on top of where those nuts and all those other yummies are, making sure I cover it. So now I'm just going to smooth it over on top to make sure I cover everything. So those nuts are definitely going to be in the middle of my cake. They are not going to be on the sides.
Now I'm going to take the rest of my topping, and I'm putting it all over. I'm trying to get it in different spots so that it doesn't just glop in one part. Now I'm just smoothing it over, just lightly, very lightly. And then I'm going to put on my toasted coconut. And now I'm going to put it right in the oven. Hi everybody, Marty Dave here. The coffee cake. Okay, there are no added fats to that coffee cake. Now about the only fats you're going to find are going to be in the wheat flour. And if you make it, you can make it gluten-free. There's basic cake recipes to do that. So you're going to be able to get a nice dessert without a whole lot of fat. And I think that's a real good plan. All right, darlings. Now, I baked it, and then it definitely passed the toothpick test. You put a toothpick in the middle, okay, in the middle. So let's taste this. It has a great texture. The nuts and this is a good coffee cake. Here's the deal with coffee cake. You don't want to make it too sweet. You want a lot of texture and flavor, but you just don't want all that like sweetness of a regular cake. I mean, that's not what you're looking for. This to me is perfect. You can really taste the spices going on, and I'm just into the texture. I would check it, which I did. At 30 minutes, I turned it around, and then depending on whether you have a fast or slow oven, I tend to have a slow oven. I didn't check it until the 55 minutes was done. It's going to need a little less time, but this is yummy the way it is. I'll eat it.